press we want to start streaming live event. We are currently live. No audio is going yet. And in 3, 2, 1. Hey! Welcome. We're going to be doing our first weekend weeb-out where we rant about every anime that is currently airing of the season.
Yeah, or just whatever we've been watching throughout the week. Stuff that we've been engaging in, new shows that are coming out, just complaints during the week. We can just talk about it right away. So yeah, I'm excited.
Fantastic. Well, I think Malrogg's going to be kicking us off as I kind of figure out what's going on with the stream right now. But what is happening this week?
Yeah.
What is launching?
This is the beginning of the spring 2019 anime list, so it's exciting. Last season was stellar, and it was an amazing season, lots of amazing shows. Mob Psycho 2 blew me out of the water. We finished off Reincarnated as a Slime. There were just so many good shows last season. It was incredible. And we're moving into the new season, and honestly, after such a high of the last season, I was skeptical that we were going to have as good of a season this time around. There was a lot of controversy surrounding the whole One Punch Man Season 2. People were worried because it had moved over to JC Staff away from Madhouse, so we're like, oh boy. And then after looking at the PV as well, people were a little like, is this gonna work out the way that we thought it would? You know, especially season 1 though was fantastic, right? But it was also, they brought in a lot of talent and they worked really hard to make it stellar and above average. So anything that's not above average will probably look like it's a downgrade in any sense of the word. But you know, we checked out the first episode. We can talk about that a little bit more. But all in all, like this season, I was a little worried that it wasn't going to be as good as last season, and that it may not be. But there are still plenty of awesome shows to check out. But something I did want to discuss just a little bit and talk with you about is the whole thing with Funimation, right? Because last season, a lot of the shows, normally we watch most of our shows on Crunchyroll, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have a Verve, which includes Crunchyroll, it includes Rooster Teeth, High Dive, which High Dive was an addition from this last year when Funimation and Crunchyroll had a little bit of a divorce. They had a bit of a falling out, so then they weren't sharing each other's libraries anymore. And now Funimation has run off to go hook up with its new lover named Hulu. So it looks like they want to start their own thing, and Hulu wants to have a bunch of new anime shows. And Funimation is Funimation and Hulu are doing their own thing. Crunchyroll is doing its own thing. It seems like there's the era of having all of our shows on the same platform is starting to come to an end. It looks like there's multiple platforms that are having exclusives, and if you want to watch all of the shows, it might be difficult to do so with just having, say, a Crunchyroll subscription. So this season especially, where Crunchyroll only has a couple of the shows, they have Fruits Basket, like the new remake of Fruits Basket, which, you know, it's a lot of fun. I'm gonna have fun talking about that.
It looks great so far.
Yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. They also have the rights to Sarazanmi, which is that was quite the first episode.
We need a half an hour.
Yeah, we gotta just discuss that on its own. But like, yeah, these are a couple of ones on Crunchyroll, and then also Demon Slayer, which is the ufotable
that was great
one.
So far.
It looks a lot like Fate Stay Night, Fate Zero, because it's ufotable. Yuki Kajira is doing the music. It looks a lot like that sort of environment. It just looks good. So that one's a lot of fun. But other than those, almost everything else we're watching this season is on Funimation. So when Attack on Titan Season 3, Part 2 comes out, that's going to be a Funimation exclusive. One Punch Man...
That's also going to be on Funimation.
That's going to be on Funimation as well, yeah. I was watching Isekai Quartet. That's on Funimation. We've got Helpful Fox Senko-san is Funimation. Let's see. There's a couple other ones. After Lost, Fairy Gone. Just a couple of the shows that like I was looking to, but the majority of my list is on Funimation. There's only a couple, and I mean, granted, if you only wanted to watch a couple shows from the season, they happen to all be on Crunchyroll, then fantastic, right? But
right now, I think until the 15th. So until tomorrow, if you go on, it's like what, $5.99 or just $5?
Yeah, it's like I think it's like $6 for.
It's like $5.99 per month if you sign up right now, but I know that ends April 15th.
Yeah.
So today's the last day. If you want to watch all the newest anime this season, you want to sign up today.
Yeah. And also, I mean, if you log right in and get and start premium membership, I think usually you can have like a free trial period.
It was 14 days.
Yeah, so you got a 2-week trial period. You can try it out. Maybe what you want to do is if you want to save a little bit of moolah and you don't care about watching the shows as they come out week by week, you can maybe wait until near the end of the season, do your 2-week subscription, and binge like crazy. That's also a possibility, for those free to play people out there trying to find a way to get their anime without pirating it.
But I have enjoyed Funimation's aspect of the simul dub. Having the dubs come out right away.
Especially
really
for Fruits Basket.
It's a good dub so far.
Fruits Basket is a classic show that I've seen that I watched it back in the day when it had a dub. And this was a long time ago, so I actually don't recall a lot of it. And I'm enjoying watching it again with updated graphics and animations and everything. With I know the premise and I know the characters and stuff like that, but it's fun being able to watch it again and be like, man, this is a throwback to early 2000s. Like the first Full Metal Alchemist was out. Like we were watching Gundam Seed. Like this is the old school stuff, but they're going back and they're bringing back and giving it a bit of a makeover. So that's pretty fun, and I like it. I like it in the dub because it's nostalgic. So yeah, that's fun. We can discuss that a little bit more, but I just wanted to say, just as a one-off thing, if you're looking for the largest library of shows to watch for this season, probably going with a Funimation subscription of some kind will be your best option, because they have some of the most shows from this season. Whereas last season it was Crunchyroll had most of them, other than Dororo, which was on Amazon Prime, and the ones that end up exclusively on Netflix, where they don't release them until the end of the season. Thank you, Netflix. I'm still waiting on Kakagurui Season 2.
We don't have Season 2 yet.
No, I'm still waiting for it. I keep checking.
That was in our preview, and we haven't ever been able to review it.
I haven't even been able to see it, because I'm still waiting for them to actually release it.
Well, because it's not worth giving your computer all kinds of viruses and anything just to watch this anime.
Right, and I mean, it's just for Kakagurui either. But anyway, so that's just a little thing, if you're really trying to get the most bang for your buck for this season, in my opinion, probably go with Funimation. They have the most shows. And they also have a lot of those shows in dub as well, if that's a thing that you're into. So yeah, we can do that, and then we can also jump in and just kind of talk about some of the shows that we're checking out this season.
The season has been fantastic so far. I've enjoyed a lot of the things that you've gotten me to watch, and this has actually helped me branch out more into the anime that I'm going to watch. And so it's been fun, but I think by far my favorite is it started out being with Senkyu.
Okay.
I enjoyed that, but after watching the first 2 episodes in English of Fruits Basket, I'm kind of leaning towards that.
Yeah, Fruits Basket is an interesting case, because they've been going back and they've been remaking a lot of old shows recently. So we've been seeing them return with, so for example, last year they came back with a remake of the Legend of the Galactic Heroes. We had another Full Metal Panic season. We had a spin-off of Fist of the North Star. A lot of these old shows that people know about and they'd seen, where they're either coming back and getting a reboot, or they're getting a new season, or stuff like that. And so it gives me a lot of hope for shows that I want to see a new season for, like my ever elusive 3rd season of Spice the Wolf, which I'm still waiting for. But I can wait for a while longer, as long as I have the helpful fox Senko-san to check out for this season. But yeah, so Fruits Basket's is a fun case, and I'm really liking it. I actually like the English dub for this one too. But for you haven't seen any of Fruits Basket before, Cherbie. So what's as someone who hasn't seen the original, what are your thoughts on just this show as it stands right now? Only 2 episodes are out so far.
It already feels like a classic. Even though I haven't seen it, I know it's been around for a while. I've seen the covers for it. I've seen clips and AMVs that had it, but it feels like it's a classic already. It just has that kind of feel of this is an older anime. Yeah. But everything just looks beautiful.
Yeah, they retained also the look of the older show a little bit. Like the way their face and their eyes are constructed, it gives you an early 2000s animation feel. But yeah, no, I like it. The characters are cute and adorable. It's your romantic it's your romantic comedy, I guess, sort of show. But yeah, no, it's a fun show, and I'm expecting more good stuff from it as it goes along.
Yeah, it'll be fun for sure. There are some odd ones that came out this this season that I'm definitely looking forward to catching up on and seeing where they go with it, including some with some kappas.
Oh yes,
some frogs.
Yeah, what is it, Sarazanmai?
Oh wait, no, we can't call them frogs.
Yeah,
that
no, we can't.
Poorly for us.
Yeah, you don't want your booty organ to get removed. It's okay. This is a weird show. The guy who is making this is an original anime creation, so it doesn't have any source material. But the director for this also did Legendary Girl Utena. I think there are a couple. He's known for his kind of weird style. Like he does weird symbolic stuff a lot, and so a lot of people are excited about this one because it's an original from him, right? And so it's interesting because we watched it and we're like, oh, okay, this is interesting. It's got some weird elements in here. Like all the background people are just these walking like
they're street sign.
Yeah, street sign people. And it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Maybe that, means something. And then like, all our main characters like have secrets that they want to keep hidden. But then like it gets extracted from them as the organs get extracted from their buttholes, and it's such a strange show. It's got a lot of weird butt imagery, and so I mean, it's the sort of thing that like
still appropriate in viewing.
Yeah,
it's all like
it's in like shadow form, or it's the kappa is pooping out other kappas, and you're like, okay, that's really strange. It's they're covered in gunk, just like Aqua is covered in gunk in Konosuba when she gets eaten by frogs or whatever. So it's like, okay, it's kind of that flavor, but yeah, no, it's an odd show. It's a intriguing, it's a mesmerizing show in a really weird way, and the animation is quite on par. I really like the way it's animated. It looks good. And it's got a whole bunch of symbolism in there. So I'm curious to see where they go, but it's definitely... There's a lot of butt play in there, so they're going to have more butt extractions, I'm sure, as it goes on.
So what was the premise of it? Wasn't it the aspect that humans have their ambitions or their emotions?
Their desires.
Their desires. Human desires are stored in an organ that's located
in the butt.
Anal cavity.
Yes, in the booty. Their desires are stored in their butt.
And then there's a kappa that has the ability to bring it out. Now, how did they turn back into humans at the end? Because they're transformed.
They have to extract the desire organ from these like ghost zombie creatures, and they turn into little kappas. They go out, they like fight these creatures, remove the organ, and then they feed that organ to the main kappa, and then they transform back into humans again. So it's like a magical girl transformation, but they're men and they're also frogs.
Man, these are still boys we're talking about here, and it's just very weird. It was like the first time it happened, it was a what moment where I looked at Malrogg and he looked at me. We were just
my eyes were wide open, my head was sinking into the back of my face.
He's watched a lot of stuff, but his reaction was golden as his head sunk into the couch, getting as far away as we could.
I was shrinking into the couch as I was watching, like, what is this?
Oh, it was fantastic.
But it was, it was one of those ones where you like look at each other and you feel weird watching it by yourself, but when you watch it with someone where you can comment on it and be like, "What did I just watch?" It makes it more hilarious. But yeah, no, I'm excited to watch more of it because I want to see more of this.
The one way that I would describe it would be a train wreck.
Yeah,
because it's like you can't pull yourself away from it, but it's bad at the same time.
Yeah, but I mean, it might land. It might be awesome. Oh, yeah. So not a train wreck in that it's like it's
not
bad. It's not bad. It's just it's chaotic. It's weird. If you love weird, chaos, artsy stuff, you'll probably enjoy it. So yeah, that's one definitely to check out.
Yep, I'm excited about that. What's next?
Yeah, well, let's see. I would like to talk about the second season of One Punch Man.
Okay, so there was a lot of controversy because of the screen leaks and screen caps that people put out. And like,
the PV, the promotional video, people were looking at it and they're like, oh my gosh, is this it? Like, the promotional video only had clips from the first episode. There was a lot of black screen in that PV, so people were like, oh no. Are they really behind on their animation? Like, the first episode should already be completely done.
Yeah.
So it was like...
Not to mention, like, a lot of the screen caps that went out, there was actually different pictures of the same shot, but Saitama had different color hoodies. So they're like, oh no, they haven't even finished the color selection yet. So people were freaking out.
Yeah, but yeah, what was your thoughts on the first episode? Like, after watching it?
I have to say I was excited, and then it like slowly petered off. I was really excited to have another season and be in the middle of it, but it felt kind of like a filler episode that should have been in the first season. I get that they're building up to a bigger plot probably, but starting off it was like, yay, fun, One Punch Man. It didn't look as terrible as I thought it was gonna look, and the scenes were so fast with Saitama's arms, which was a huge like complaint that people had, was how they looked all CG and digitally drawn versus anime.
Yeah.
But I still enjoyed it. It was still fun, but to me it felt like it was, again, a filler episode that was like, oh, this is an OVA to the first one.
Yeah.
This isn't a second season.
Yeah, no, it's a fun show, and like, after watching it, I was like, I was worried because of the controversy surrounding it, but after watching it, I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. But the thing that brings it down is just comparing it to the first season. Yep. Because the first season was so good. So over the top, so above average, Sakuga out the wazoo. So for this season to come in and just look pretty good is like it's like a couple bars down from the excellence that we saw consistently in the first season. So I feel like for this one, I'm gonna try and make sure that while I watch it, I just watch it on its own merits. I know about the first season, but I'm going to try and...
You have to disassociate.
I need to disassociate. I need to keep those comparisons away if I can. Yeah. Because if I compare it too much, it'll just continue to drag it down. And I'm thankful that we are at least getting another season of One Punch Man. We're getting a new arc, and we're getting more of the material, because I think the material is awesome. The guy who does both One Punch Man and Mob Psycho has some really great stories, and I'm glad they're being animated. It's just the comparison between this season and the first season.
But that's the hard part of it, is the fact that we had Mob Psycho 100.
Oh,
first season was great.
That's even...
But we were spoiled by this past season.
Dude, this season was so good. It was so good. Studio Bones just laying down the law on how to do stellar animation. Like, unbelievable. I can't wait also for the new My Hero Academia, which is coming in this fall, because that's Studio Bones again, and they're just going to be continuing to lay down.
But I guess I'm just looking forward to seeing more intense fight sequences, because in One Punch Man, I enjoyed the music that they used and the fights that they had, just the overpowered. Yeah. And I love the corniness of the villains and how they got their, like, backstory.
Yeah, because it's like generic superhero playing that up and being like, oh, I
ate too much lobster and I became one.
Yeah, I have a tragic backstory where my entire village was murdered by a cyborg, so I'm a cyborg now and I'm hunting cyborgs. It's just like, it's...
Are you Geos?
It's basic. It's your basic, like, hero backstory thing. And that's what, it takes that archetype and poses it on its head, because Genos is not the main character. Nope. It's Saitama. But Saitama is too good to be the hero. He's like, it's like if Goku went back to fight, Piccolo in an early tournament or whatever, but the Goku of now, like, goes back in time and like
Super Saiyan God goes back.
He's like, he's overpowered now, so it's like everything he does is just like, if the old, like, Vegeta and Nappa from, like, the beginning of the Dragon Ball Z series, or the first Frieza came and fought the Goku of now, it would play out like pretty much all of our One Punch Man fights. And that's what's funny about it, is because we want our heroes. Satirical. Yeah, we want our heroes, our Gokus and our Saitamas and our Narutos to be like super strong. Like, oh, look how powerful they've become. But it's really about the journey and not the destination. So it's like, well, what if we take the destination and put it at the very beginning? What do you do now? It's like, oh man, it kind of plays off, and it shows you, how much you really rely on the journey aspect to make these hero stories work.
It's like Saitama is starting with a Game Shark in the very beginning, and you're witnessing it with God mode.
Yeah, he has like cheat codes, and it's like, well, what do you do in like, the Elder Scrolls Skyrim when you have like, you're level 100 and like you start like the Mages Guild quest at level 100. Like,
So,
and they're like, oh, you pathetic mage, and then you just like destroy all of their stuff instantly, and you have to make your own fun at that point because the actual story itself is too boring. And that's what Saitama really struggles with, is like everything's too boring because he's too strong. So
style and comparison to the first season aside, what did you think of it as far as story elements? I enjoyed that little arc of King, the hero of all, who was nothing at all.
I like how King looks like he looks like a total
looks like a
BA.
JoJo.
He looks amazing. He's like, oh, he looks like the hero, and he's like the people's hero. Everyone's like, oh, he's the king. He's the strongest. His only skill is that he just happens to be in the right place at the right time to take all the credit for everything Saitama does. Like that's his entire skill set, is just looking crazy strong and being in the right place to get credit for things. And it's like, the King engine. It's like, it's like once no one ever hears that. It's just his heart beating because he's terrified.
Yeah,
like,
it's the King's engine. No,
it's
he's
hilarious.
just terrified.
Yeah, and then also it also develops Saitama a little bit, because once Saitama figures it out, he's just like, hey, you just, you're the people's hero. Even if you're weak, it doesn't really matter. You're the people's hero, so you gotta keep being their hero. Because Saitama believes in heroes, and he wants to be, not only does he want to be one, but he also holds up those who are heroic in the moment. And he like, supports them. So like in the first season, when Moomin Rider is fighting the Deep Sea King, and he's getting his butt handed to him, like Saitama like comes in and is like, oh, he catches him and is like, hey, you did a good job, you can rest now, I'll take care of the rest. He respected him in that moment. And so Saitama has a lot of respect for heroes and what it means to be a hero. So even if he doesn't get to be the one who is in the eyes of the people, the hero of the people, or gets all the credit for it, he still is willing to like go out his way to make sure that like heroism stays alive in the hearts of the people. So it's kind of, I'm curious to see what the relationship between him and King is going to be moving forward, because will King just be with Saitama at more often, so that way like when things happen to him, Saitama can like be the actual one that defeats the people, and then he can be like, oh yes, and still take the credit and be like, but like, I'm curious to see where it goes from there. But it was kind of an interesting thing, a fun plot twist where he the third or fourth, fifth strongest hero? I can't remember what his placement is in the hero association. But he in his high position, it's only because he's lucky and not because he's actually strong or can do anything.
Yeah, just funny because that's actually Saitama's position. It should be at least, because he's doing all the work.
Yeah, or if he's going to continue being the hero, is he gonna actually try to get strong? Maybe is he gonna actually develop him?
At this point, since you're not, you have to get strong. You are the hero.
Yeah,
like I'll come back.
You have to fill the shoes that have been given to you, basically. So it's like, I'm kind of curious to see where that goes. But yeah, no, I'm excited for more of it. I'm willing to, if I could take my mind off of comparing the animation from the first season and the second season, and as long as they can at least keep it up to, a minimum average animation, I'll at least enjoy the story. But they were able to get the first episode done. I hope that they'll be successful in continuing it going forward. So hopefully if the first episode is a good sign, and they can keep up at least what they were doing from the first episode, and at least maintain that, maybe go above and beyond for some fight scenes now and again, then I'll be okay. But I am just still worried that they're running behind on stuff. So we're going to have to see where that goes.
I thought the aspect of the prophecy was a little corny.
Yeah.
But I don't know where you stand on that. Like, they're trying to get all the villains together to try to, like, hey, the whole world's going to end, and it's your world, too, so own up kind of thing. And, of course, Speed of Sound Sonic is there as well, complaining, but I don't know where you...
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more of a setup for the next villain, who's that guy who was at the very end of the episode, who, like, he's going to be he's also on the cover art. He's going to be the new villain versus like Boros and the ones from the first season. So we'll see more of them. I'm not 100% sure. The last season kind of said with like, yeah, prophecies aren't that big of a deal, especially after the whole like fight between Saitama and Boros, where they both had their respective prophecies they were trying to fulfill, and then Saitama beats him easily. It's like, yeah, well, I guess prophecies aren't as big of a deal. So but yeah, we'll have to see where it goes.
It'll be exciting.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see. There are a couple. There are a couple other shows we've talked about. Stars on My, Fruits Basket.
Let's jump right into Demon Slayer.
You want to go Demon Slayer? Okay, this is Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. This is exciting. I'm excited for more of this.
We're 2 episodes in.
We're 2 episodes in, yeah.
Is this kind of like our crutch for getting over the fact that Goblin Slayer is over now?
I mean, we were okay with Goblin Slayer being over last season because there were so many other shows to watch. But this season, I am excited for this one. It's done by Studio Ufotable. I forget. I'm not sure how to say it, but they did Fate Zero, Unlimited Budget Works. They've made a whole bunch of shows that look really, really, really good. And it's the same. You can see a lot of the camera angles are similar to what we see in Fate Zero, similar like snow. They do a really good job of actually blending the CG into their show. Because there were definite instances of like, kind of wide shots where it was like the characters were in CG. You could see kind of the CG movement.
Well,
but it was very like
walking and he lit in his feet. The snow is in CG. Like he's walking in.
Yeah, and it was like, but the transition between the two was very seamless. And I think like one of the places for CG in the future of animation is definitely blending in very well, where it doesn't as long as the CG isn't jarring, I mind it a lot less. So like I'm much more okay with it, and they had instances where it looked like really pretty good. And it was like, and they could put their effort into the various camera angles, the sweeping wide shots, the making action heavy, and like being able to follow different characters, and like it was just really, really fun. I really enjoy it. It's very gritty and gruesome. Like his entire family gets murdered in the first episode except for his little sister, who gets turned into a demon. So he's trying to figure out a way to turn her back into a human, and also
she shows different signs of not just being a man-eating demon. She's not a full demon. It's when the demon's blood falls into like their wounds, they start becoming a man-eating demon,
right?
Where they can eat their own. But she showed great restraint when the other Slayers came by.
She hasn't eaten human flesh yet. She's in the second episode, she looked like she was drooling, salivating. And she was like, like this looks really delicious. But then she didn't actually eat it. She just ran over and kicked the other guy's punch in his head right off.
Head goes flying.
And then she like kicks the body. It's just like, whoa. Nothing like a little demon in Moto as your support character. But anyways, it's their interactions between main character and the girl are cute. I like how the main character, his main power is just he has a really good sense of smell. So I think that's an interesting trait to have versus the sort of like it doesn't seem like an overpowered trait. But I think it could be developed to be really, really strong. And I'm interested to see how they make that in development. And also, like, I've seen in the opening that he has a sword. He has, it's like a water sword. There's, like, parts of it that look like magic or whatever. So I'm interested to see where that comes in. We haven't seen that yet.
Where that comes in, I'm really happy with their animation because you can see it looks like it's dragons flying around, but then when you actually watch like the second episode, and you learn that what we're visualizing are the scents that he is smelling. So in the animation, I caught on that halfway through the wisp, the wind, the little dragons, the magic that goes around. Yeah. That's actually the studio animating what he's smelling. It's kind of like when you like play games and you see sounds bouncing off and you have like echo vision stuff like that. Yeah. This was our way of seeing it, and it wasn't CG. It was a beautiful fluid animation of him.
It looks like a water painting of some kind.
It was great.
Water painting turned animation. So that looked really cool. It looks cool. I'm interested to see more. I love the dynamic camera angles of this show. I like the premise. I think it's interesting. It's got that sort of grit to it. There's lots of lots of violence that happens, and he has to make a decision, hard decisions. I'm like, I'm gonna have to take the life of this creature so it doesn't have to take the lives of other people, and those sort of decisions. I love that sort of thing. That's why I liked Dororo so much last season, and it's still ongoing. But yeah, I like that sort of thing. So I think I'm really going to enjoy this show, and I'm excited for it, which comes out on Saturdays. So it'll definitely be a Saturday watch as soon as it's up situation for me.
Yeah, it was exciting. I loved, again, all of it that took place, and I loved the animation, and then the fluidity of, again, it looked like they just blended CG, and I think this gives me hope, because this is like the second or third show that we've seen in the past few months that is using CG well. So I hope this is a turnaround where we're going to start seeing more and more good uses of it.
Yeah. Speaking of CG, actually, I don't know if you saw this show, but I watched the first episode of a show called Fairy Gone, I think.
You were talking about it yesterday. I had
yeah.
not seen it yet.
And this one actually does have a significant amount of CG in it, because the it's like almost like a JoJo reference. You have your soldiers that have like, swords and guns, but then they like, touch a magical part on their chest, and then out pops this fairy, which is like their stand basically, and they can like fight as well. And the fairies are all in CG, so it's like you got your regular human hand drawn, and then the CG fairies that are fighting as well. So it's
like a Persona kind of thing.
Yeah, it's almost like Persona. It's almost like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's got that sort of feel. It's not something that's particularly new. We've seen that sort of thing before. I'll probably watch another episode or two, but unless it really starts to impress me, I might end up just dropping the show. We'll have to see. It was an okay first episode, but they really have to do more to draw me in, because the premise isn't that unique. It was you have the girl who's like, oh, I've been looking for you forever. They're both from a village that got destroyed, and they got separated, and the one girl was looking for the other one. He's like, oh, I finally found you. Let's return together and be reunited. Humans and the ethereal fairies was a good enough boundary between regular hand-drawn animation and CGI to make it believable for me. So yeah, it was all right. It wasn't like an A++ show. Probably like a B, maybe a B-, but I think it's at least worth checking out an episode or two after that.
Now with the sad ending of My Roommate is a Cat last season, there left a void in my heart for that feel-good anime. Yeah. And now this one hits me even more close to home, just because of where the main character works. But the helpful fox, Senko-san.
Yes. This one is really fun. I really like this one. It's like this is gonna be I think this is gonna be a healing generally one of your healing shows where you could even see it at the end of this episode, right? Yep. So you have a businessman who he works at a hard job. He does like coding and stuff like that, and he wants to go home, but then like other people are like, oh, please help me out, and he's like, oh, okay, fine, I'll help you out. And so then he stays really late at work. He has kind of this negative aura where he just doesn't like his job, and he returns home to a lonely apartment where it's just him, and it's like he's having a really rough time because of that. He just needs a little bit of healing in his life. And so the helpful fox Senko-san decides to come home and be his wifey, in a sense. She makes food for him. She's like, welcome home. She greets him. She makes sure he has enough to eat, and she just helps him download all of his insecurities and have all of his some time of rest when he gets home. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then at the end, it was funny because they had the last like 2 to 3 minutes was a first-person view where you as the audience are going into the house, and then Senko-san's there. He's like, oh, welcome home, I made you dinner, and you're sitting there, and like, when she asks you a question, the screen shakes as if you're nodding. So it's like a first-person insert sort of thing, so that you can be the one who's being greeted and welcomed home by Senko-san.
Is this Pillow Boy?
Yeah, well, it's got the same sort of feel, or that other show that we watched. You remember?
I glare at you while you stare at my panties.
Oh yes, that show.
a YouTube exclusive.
That one is a little more lewd, but there is some tail touching, some fwa in this show. So so if that's what you like, that's you'll get that here. but yeah, anyways,
it was still cute and innocent in its own way. That was super fun to watch, and just I felt relaxed while watching it, which is good. That's what I want. I want another relaxing anime. We had our chill ultimate comf anime Yuru camp.
Yeah.
And then Murume is a cat, and now we've got Senko-san, which I'm okay with it.
This is a comp show. Comes out on Wednesdays, so this will be fun to watch.
Not quite the season 3 of Spice and Wolf that we've been holding out for.
But I have it all planned out to describe this and say, this is the new season of Spice and Wolf, and Lawrence decided to stop being a bum and no longer and begin contributing to society, and Holo is now a lolly, and just kind of go off like that. But yeah. Anyways, no, it's a good show. I think we're both all gonna enjoy it, and I'm excited for more. Let's see. There were just a couple others. We've hit a lot of the main ones. I wanted to talk real quick about Isekai Quartet. It's just
it's fan service.
It's
as far
just
as like just characters.
Fan service for the shows that I like. I've seen all of the shows. Probably Overlord is probably my least favorite between the three, but that's only because we've gotten 3 seasons, and in the 3rd season it kind of ended on a little bit of a rough note for me in the CGI aspect. It was kind of like,
what, you don't like CG goblins?
Why are the goblins in CG? What is this? This is horrifying, a little traumatizing, but all in all, I think Overlord's okay. I'm glad that it got as many seasons as it did. I'm excited for a new season of ReZero that's coming out, so that's going to be exciting. I want to see the Tanya the Evil movie. I think it might already be out. I just need to trying to watch anime movies here in the U.S.
It is terrible.
A pain. It's really hard to.
They need a subscription service like they do for anime.
Yeah,
movies.
If they don't come out to theaters at some point for exclusive showings or whatever, you won't see it for like another year until it actually comes out either on Blu-ray or anything like that. Which, if they had a service that allowed for us to watch movies, maybe even a couple months after they came out, and either rent them for whatever, I would definitely do it because I really like anime movies. It's so hard to get them here in the U.S.
Because there's one that's coming out in June that was called Weather with You or something like that. That actually looked really good. It was by the same people who did Your Name, so it's the same company doing it. And I saw the trailer. I'm like, it's gonna be great. Comes out in June. I won't see it till 2020.
Yeah, it'll be at least another year until you get to see it, and that's what's so unfortunate because it's just there aren't a lot of options for watching anime movies here in the U.S. So anyways, the Tanya the Evil movie, I totally want to watch that, and that's a continuation of the series. And I am waiting and hoping for a new season of Konosuba whenever that comes out. I love Konosuba. It's hilarious.
Don't hold your breath.
I'm watching this show almost exclusively to listen to the characters of Konosuba go off and rant like they do, and hear Aqua crying about something, and Kazuma is being like, shut up, it's so good. I love the voice acting in that show. So this is just a fan service show. All these isekai characters get transported back to the real world, and now they're all in a classroom for some reason, and it's just going to be probably a bunch of generic shenanigans where we get to see the characters that we all know interacting with each other in weird and funny ways, and it's just going to be more of a comedy fun sort of thing. So it's only I think it's only like 10 to 12 minutes per episode, so it's not going to be like a long form 24 episode, 20 minutes an episode show. It's going to be like, maybe 11 episodes, 10 minutes each episode. It's just going to kind of go like that. So I'm excited for it. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to have fun with it, but I'm not expecting a lot out of it. It's just going to be fun because it's like, especially recognizing the voice actors and actresses who do a great job with their characters already, interacting with each other in weird ways and seeing whether or not Ainz is going to try and kill off Subaru, and if Subaru dies, does he just appear again, because of his reincarnation thing. So I'm really curious to see what their interactions are, but all in all, that should be fun. But other than that one, there was also, another show that I was checking out. Yeah, it's a show called Afterlost, Shumetsu Toshi, I think. It's an odd show. It's like Fairy Gone. It was okay, but I don't know if I'm going to keep up with it. We'll have to see. Basically, it's almost got this this sort of intrigue, mystery plot sort of thing. I think there's psychic powers in there as well. There's this mysterious event where a big portion of the city disappears, and now it's a giant hole. The government has covered it up, and it's like, is this a government conspiracy? And there was this one girl that was a survivor of this event. And for some reason, there are shadowy organizations that are trying to capture her. There's this transportation dude that's driving her around. And like, there's a lot of elements in there of things that I've seen already. I'm a little more curious about the world, but we'll have to see where that one goes. I'm not 100% sold on it yet. And I mean, we saw a little bit of what looked like something along the lines of psychic powers, where if you've experienced or encountered the Lost or whatever it is, you can you can either see ghosts or have this ethereal form, or you can like launch objects at each other. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of an average show, maybe a B minus grade for it. But that's that one along with Fairy Gone are two that I'm just gonna be checking out, but kind of holding a little bit loosely because I might not continue with them depending upon whether or not I lose interest. Like they have to really pick up either with the characters, make them more interesting, or pick up the story, give me something that's a little bit more interesting than what we got so far to really keep me on board. So
one that synced me in the first episode that I'm gonna definitely finish it out was actually Senkyu Girl.
Is it Senryu Girl? Yeah. It's
loved it from the start.
Yep. it's a girl who she only talks using haiku. Or it's not really haiku, but it's basically the 5-7-5 format that you would see in haiku. But it's about everyday occurrences, and she's bad at communicating with people, so she uses that to communicate. And there's this delinquent guy that looks like Mirio from My Hero Academia, who's he's a delinquent. It's like, oh, he's so bad, but he actually has a soft side, and she's into him, and so then she follows him around. And the art style is super cutesy, very fluff, very adorable. And it's also a shorter show. It's only like 10-12 minutes long.
13-minute episodes.
Yeah, but every episode is cute. So I actually enjoyed it really a lot too. So
I enjoyed it. I think there's 2 episodes that are out right now. They were very enjoyable. I like the confusion of what's it called? Burijuma, the guy that appears to be a bully. I can't remember his name. He's got so many letters, like Bujimura, whatever.
Yeah.
But I love that he appears to be a bully. It draws callbacks to Blend S because he has that glare. That he's just trying to be a nice guy. He goes, why does everybody think you're a bully? Because when I smile, it makes girls cry. And he goes, you should try smiling more. He turns around, hey.
It's just don't kill me.
And it was, I don't know, I thought that was fun, and I'm definitely going to watch that one through to the end of the season, because both episodes I have enjoyed, and it was very cute.
I think they're probably going to stay away from, I mean, I am a little bit curious about the romance side of it, because it looks like the girl is willing to kind of confess her feelings to him, like, at least it's not like she's super embarrassed, and I don't know if they're going to drag out the relationship, whether she's actually going to confess. He'll actually get it, and they'll actually become a couple.
Yeah,
I don't even know if that's going to happen.
Because every time she's responded, it seems like her words are more innocent. Like she doesn't know how to word things properly.
Right.
Even when she writes them.
Yeah.
So he goes, wait, the way you said that makes it sound like we're a couple. He's like, no.
So it's like the cute innocence of ununderstood feelings, I guess, is kind of what they're going for. So I think it would be really interesting if they actually did take more of a romance route, but I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to kind of keep it in the cute imaginative romance section, where it's like, oh, they're kind of a couple, but not really. So it's like, and then that way you can also ship the dude with like other girls as well if you want to.
Why would you want that when her smile cures cancer?
But what about the Oni-chan, the one with the is it the pink hair?
Yeah,
the one,
pink
hair. Yeah, the one that's army chick or whatever. There's probably going to be a whole bunch more girls where, depending upon what you like.
His sister.
They're not blood related, so it's okay.
Dang it, anime! What have you done to us?
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, they're cousins, but they're not cousins related by blood. It's like, gotcha. But yeah, no, that's probably what they'll do. Is they're like main couple, but they're probably not gonna like go forward completely with the actual romance side, just so that there's like the sexual tension between him and the other girls that'll get introduced or whatever. But all in all, it's a cute show. I like it. I think the art style is adorable. Like you said, her smile cures cancer. So we don't have to search for the cure for cancer anymore.
Nope, without it.
Yeah, we got it. We're done.
I want to see more background as to how she become friends with him, though. Because we just know, like, in the beginning that, like, they kind of just hit it off, and she understands him in a way, he understands her. Even he writes a couple, like, I love how a lot of people who write are in the literature club are just the 575 feel to it. But that's how he was expressing all his emotions as well.
Yeah.
But we also saw how he introduced himself to the president.
Right.
The literature goes, oh, yeah, when I met you, you were just fine. And then you see that she was terrified of him, too, in the beginning. It's like, well, how did she meet him then? Because she's not terrified of him. But yeah. I like the intro, too. Fun, cutesy.
Yeah, it's good. I've been really enjoying those kind of, like, adorable healing shows from anime as of late. Normally, I go for, like, the really hard-hitting, the Demon Slayer, gritty aspect of shows, because I really like those themes. But more and more, I've just been enjoying kind of casual anime watching. I've gotten over myself and my pretentiousness just a little bit.
You know what we call that?
What?
You know what we call that, Malrogg? We call that growing up.
Oh, man.
I know what did it, too. I know what broke you.
What broke me?
Asobi Asabase.
Asobi Asabase is a masterpiece. It's amazing. Yeah, that's an amazing show. I want more of that. Season 2, please. But yeah, no, that actually hits the majority of the shows that we're checking out this season. Attack on Titan.
Yes.
Season 3,
29th.
Part 2 isn't until April 29th. So we're going to have to wait a little bit for that one. It's going to be 10 episodes. It's going to cover the next arc that would have shown last year, but because of various issues, they had to push it to this season.
They had the typhoon and stuff like that.
Yeah,
in the studio, so they were just stopped.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of. I think there were some natural disasters that occurred.
Thankfully, they had up until a point that was like not too bad of a cliffhanger.
Yeah, no, they covered the Historia arc at least, so that was good. They got that whole.
She's our queen and leader.
She's the queen, and so now it's like, okay, onwards to the basement. So that plot line that's been sitting around for years, we're finally heading in that direction.
Hopefully that concludes a little bit more, so we feel good, because we're not going to get season 4 for at least 2 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully sooner than that, because they made a mistake between season 1 and season 2. They waited way too long. A lot of the hype of Attack on
attention.
A lot of the attention of Attack on Titan dropped between season 1 and season 2. Season 1 was a phenomenal hit. Like everybody was, at the conventions, everyone was wearing Survey Corps garb, like all everywhere. It was like huge. And then like 4 years later, it's like, that's cool, I guess.
However, if you were in any way not too interested in it, the first episode of Levi's arc in the 3rd season would definitely get you invested in watching the anime.
Yeah, no, which studio went all out to bring that one back? So that's exciting.
Revives.
Because if we're going to be getting more Attack on Titan, and they're going to wait for, and we have to wait between these sections of the seasons, then at least I'm hoping for really stellar animation. So that's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to that, but we have to wait until the 29th for that to come out. And also, just a quick shout out, one that I want to check out, but I'm going to have to wait on because Netflix is not, they don't get it, is a show called Carol and Tuesday. Which is, it's like a
Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing.
It's like two girls that they form a band between each other, and they like come from different backgrounds, and they like start off and like they have this whole like band thing that they wanna do music, right? So it's like a music show, and it looks really good. The animation looks stellar, done by Studio Bones, I think. Of course. But yeah, it looks awesome. But because it's a Netflix exclusive, we're going to have to wait until it finishes. And it's like a 24, 25 episode show. We won't get it until like the end of this year. Until like the fall or whatever.
We still don't have Kakegurui.
Yeah, we still don't have that. So, so that was one I wanted to check out. And I would like to watch weekly if possible. And if you're not in the United States, if you're in Asia and you have Netflix, you can actually watch it weekly. It's just in the United States that they're not releasing this weekly. Oh, Netflix.
As you can tell, Malrogg has quite the anger issue when it comes to Netflix.
I like Netflix, but I also hate Netflix.
Yeah.
It's like I think they just need to change their formula with this. I understand that a lot of their shows they put up all at the same time for the sake of binging, right? Mm-hmm. But
with anime, by the time you get to the end of the season and you release all of it at the same time, a lot of the talk and discussion around the show has already disappeared and dispersed. I like to be able to engage with the show as it's coming out. So when an episode comes out and people watch it and they're like, whoa, this is crazy. I want to be able to discuss it and talk about it.
Everyone's on Reddit already coming up with theories.
Yeah, Reddit's already going. It's like, oh, I want to be able to engage in that way, but you can't do it. Well, at least not legally. You'd have to find a way to pirate it if you're here in the U.S. But
even then, you suffer quality loss. Then,
right?
So many pirated versions are just like,
yeah. You'd have to go to your friends over at Kiss Anime in order to get that up. But yeah, and so I prefer not to do that. But if they're not giving you the option for it, I can see how a lot of people would go in that direction. But anyways, I'm excited for that one. Once that one comes out, I will watch it on Netflix. I'll probably binge it. But for the time being, I'm just gonna have to wait. But that being said, though, there are a bunch of other shows that we've already talked about for this season, so we're not going to be at a loss for shows to watch this season. There's plenty of cute ones, plenty of action-heavy ones, and we're going to be continuing and finalizing both the Rising of the Shield Hero and Dororo from the last season. So we still got other shows that are ongoing that we can enjoy. But all in all, it looks exciting, and I'm looking forward to more.
It's going to be a good season. Even if there were some downsides or down shows that weren't going to be good, we still have Dororo and Shield Hero to carry us through. But I'm just excited that there are some new things on the block that we get to enjoy.
It's a hard loss to see the Promised Neverland, Mob Psycho Season 2, Kaguya-sama reincarnated as a slime leaving us. But I think there are plenty of shows to watch this season, and I'm going to be watching them as they come out. So, yeah. So, positive, negative, good, bad. Plenty of good, maybe some bad. We'll have to see, and we'll be watching the shows as they come out.
And don't forget, for those of you that want to catch up on a lot of them that are airing on Funimation, as we were saying earlier, today is the last day to be able to get that for $5.99 a month. Other than that, it shoots up to $8.99 a month tomorrow. So, well, that's the end of it for, I think, Weekend Weeb-out is done for us today.
I think this is our first Weekend Weeb-out. So we should be having this, on Saturdays, Sundays? Sometime during the weekend, so you can just cover the shows that have aired over the week, kind of have some discussions, be like, oh, that was a sick episode, or this is a show that I've dropped, and just kind of talk about general stuff. So, it's been good.
It'll be good. Well, thanks for joining Malrogg and me, and we will join you again next week.
Aye. To our next Weekend Weeb-out, I hope you guys are stellar.
Peace.
Adios.